with the National Federation of Professional Trainers, NFPT. We are a certifying agency for personal trainers, and I want to talk about personal training and taxes today. But first, let me tell you a little bit about me. I've been in the fitness industry for 15 years. I've taught group fitness classes, spinning classes. I was a personal trainer for a very long time. I still do health coaching. I ran my own business for 15 years, and I did a lot with taxes when I was running my business and a lot with money. And now I do a lot of coaching for people who are personal trainers. And what's going on with the camera?
You're sideways online.
Oh, I see. Sorry. Little technical difficulties there. So anyway, so the reason that I like money and taxes so much is because I ran my own business for 15 years and I worked through all the challenges that come along with money and filing taxes and working with accountants. And I just want to put it out there that I'm not an accountant, I'm not a CPA, but I have a lot of experience working through taxes from working with my accountant. And you should definitely highly consider hiring an accountant or a CPA if you're a business owner, because they can make things a lot easier for you, just the way you make things easier for your clients by helping them out with their fitness. And they can catch things that you might not see otherwise. So I just want to put that out there. I think you should definitely hire an accountant. But I want to share some things with you today and answer a few questions that have been coming in to us at NFPT to help clear up some of the mud and maybe help you realize whether or not you even need to file your own taxes, or if you're qualified to have write-offs, or if you can track mileage for your business and things like that that are just, they get kind of confusing and there's a lot of gray area. So like I said, I've been running my own business for 15 years. I have to give a lot of credit to my dad because when I was growing up, he ran his own business out of our house, and my early days with money were really getting a savings account open. My parents helped me do that, and my dad used to have me write checks for our house, and he paid me to do this. Pretty awesome. I wish I could have that job back. But I used to write checks for our household. So early on when I was a kid, he paid me under the table in cash to write checks for him, and I learned all about money and numbers. And I feel like a lot of the personal trainers that I coach and help with their businesses are really nervous about numbers and really nervous about money, and they get kind of scared sometimes, or they're worried about like making ends meet and am I gonna make enough money and all kinds of things like that. So if numbers make you nervous and money makes you nervous, you're not alone. A lot of trainers feel that way. And I think it's funny because as personal trainers, we use numbers all the time. We count repetitions, we set clients up with numbers with cardio, and we do all these different things around numbers. We help people count calories sometimes. And so realize that numbers aren't as scary as you might think they are, and that when you use numbers and money to your advantage, you can have a more successful business, you can earn a better living, and then you can essentially help more people. So I want to just mention that right off the bat here, that if you are nervous about money and numbers and taxes, then it's totally cool. So I just wanted to put that out there. And then what I'd like to do is just get to some of these questions that we've been getting at NFPT about taxes. And once again, as I said earlier, I'm not an accountant or a CPA, but I have a lot of experience working with different financial people and working through my own business and my husband's business, and working with my dad, who's had his own business for much longer than me. So I've seen a lot, and I've done a lot of research with regards to taxes. And so take these tips for what they're worth, but absolutely seek out an accountant if you need help. Okay, so let's take a look at these questions. So the question that came in most recently to us at NFPT was, let me read it to you. I work in our hospital wellness center as an exercise specialist. That is my primary position, and I am salaried. I also do personal training sessions. but I'm paid directly from the clients and considered an independent contractor during those moments. Can I still deduct mileage? So this is a very common situation for personal trainers because you might have a job. We had another trainer ask recently if she could deduct mileage for driving to and from her spinning classes or her cycling classes at a gym. And it's tricky because if you're an employee, you definitely cannot report mileage, to my knowledge, going back and forth to an employee job because you've filled out a W-2 form and your taxes are being taken out of that for you automatically. But if you have your own business on the side and you're going to clients' homes, that's a different story. However, it does get a little bit tricky. So if you want to deduct your mileage and say you're going to start driving from your house to Sally's house for a personal training session, and then you're going to go to Jim's house and then to Nancy's house, can you deduct mileage for that? And from what I understand, you can't deduct all of that mileage, and you may not even be able to deduct any of it unless you have a home office in your house. So if you designate a small area in your home to business, basically like a desk, a corner in a room, or an entire office that has to be used solely for business, then that counts as your home office or an office, and then when you go from there to a client's home, you can deduct that mileage. And then you'd have to technically come back home and then go from home back to the next client's house to deduct that mileage. That's my understanding. But again, something to check with your accountant. And if you're going from your home to the gym that you work at as an independent contractor, you can deduct the mileage, I believe, as long as you have a home office, you can deduct the mileage to and from work each day. But if you don't have a home office, then you can't. Now, if you go from your home to your gym and then from the gym to a client's house, that sometimes also counts. So it's tricky. And so you definitely want to talk to somebody, a professional, about this to make sure your situation fits. And so my answer to the person who asked this question is complicated. But what I would say is that if you're seeing clients at that hospital wellness center where you're an employee and salaried, definitely cannot deduct mileage in that situation. But if you are going to clients' homes, you might look into that scenario a little bit more detailed. And so that same thing goes for the person that asked me a while back about cycling classes. Can I deduct mileage going to and from cycling classes? And if those cycling classes are an employee position, probably not. But if you're an independent contractor, then you might be able to, as long as you have the home office. So make sure you look into that home office situation. And there's a few blogs on the NFPT website that go over this in a little bit more detail about how to set up a home office. If you just go to our blog and type in tax tips, you'll be able to access some of those blogs. So I want to talk about one other question that came in recently. I was asking, is it too late to write off mileage at this point in the year? Because the tax deadline is coming up next week. And can you go back and figure out your mileage? And I'm pretty sure that the answer to that is yes. So you could go back if you know exactly where you went, what day, the distance, then you can go back and you could calculate that and you could still write it off on your taxes this year, or for last year, for 2016. So again, another thing, if you're doing your own taxes, you might still be able to squeeze that in. If you're working with an accountant, then definitely bring it up with them. If you're still looking for an accountant, it might be tricky to find someone at this point that's got time, but you still might be able to find somebody to help you. And so before I wrap up today, I just want to chat real quick about a couple other basics. So if you're a personal trainer and you're not sure if you need to do your own taxes or not, but you're thinking that you do, it's a little late to get started on it. But maybe you're not needing to do them if you didn't know you did. But if you started a business this year and you didn't have a W-2 form and you collected money from people, then you probably need to file taxes, and you might want to get that done so you don't get penalized. Now, if you're thinking of starting a business this next year, then you can get organized for next year. And if you're a personal trainer who has a business, files their own taxes, but didn't realize that you could deduct mileage and write off other expenses, then this part is for you, because I want to really emphasize that you can get a lot of your money back. So you earn money and you pay it to the government. You pay anywhere from 15% to 25%, which if you're doing a $100 personal training session as an example, 75 of that dollars stays with you, 25 of it goes to the government. And now if you write off business expenses and you deduct mileage, that $25 for each session that's going to the government could come down to like $20 or $15, depending on how many expenses you have. So I want you to get organized this year. And the way to do that is start keeping all of your receipts. Anything you spend on your business, keep the receipt. Even if you have a meal with a client, even if you have an education seminar you go to, whenever you drive, write down your mileage and keep all of those receipts. If you're not super organized, just get all the receipts. Even like, so when I first started doing my taxes on my own as a business owner, I kept all the paper receipts. When I ate out, I had them print the receipt at the register, something we don't do much these days because everything's automated. And if you use a credit card for everything, you can go back and get it off your credit card statement. But I still just I like old school, so I printed every receipt for everything I did that was related to my business and stuck it in folders. And at the end of the year, I went through and organized it and had my accountant help me out with it. And I am pretty sure I've saved thousands of dollars each year on write-offs. Maybe not thousands, but at least $1,000 each year on write-offs. And write-offs can be education, mileage, it can be clothing in some situations. There's a fine line there, so you have to definitely look into the rules and regulations around your specific job in your area, and that's where a CPA can come in handy. And a lot of them only cost like $150 to $250, and you can easily save that money in the write-offs and pay that off pretty easily, unless you have a more complicated situation. So I encourage you to get organized this year because I'd like to see you save more money, because saving money is making money. And so keep those receipts, find a CPA, and if you're not sure whether or not you need to file your own taxes, go over to our blog, nfpt.com/blog, and if you even just go nfpt.com/personal trainer tax advice with a dash between each word, you can look at some commonly asked questions like, how do I know if I need to file my own taxes? What are estimated payments? Can you claim mileage? Can you deduct music and clothing? Can you deduct CECs? And there's links within this blog that lead to other blogs that we wrote just to help you sort through all of this. So as a certifying agency, NFPT, we hope to help you out as much as we can with some basic advice around taxes, hopefully to reduce your anxiety, point you in the right direction, get you organized for next year. And then of course, as always, we recommend that you hire an accountant or somebody, a CPA, to look over everything and make sure that everything that you're doing is legal and making sure that it's all legitimate. So if you have any questions for me or for us about taxes, feel free to post them. And let me just actually check and see what the questions are on here. Let's see. Yeah, so there's a little discussion going on here about the amount. I think it's like $600 that you've had to take in at least or collected at least $600 from people to have to file your own taxes. And we've got some people giving some advice in here. Thanks, Lon. If you use a post office box, check for mail. I agree with everything you said, except it's not probably... Oh, where did that comment just go? Boop. Any amount is taxable, says Nancy. And I can't see... I can't see your full comment, Nancy, for some reason. But I will jump in here later and chat with you guys if you have some more questions. Please ask us, and yes, thank you for all of you that were here today and jumping in here and talking about it. And if you have other questions about anything, let us know. We're here to serve you guys and help you with your business. And so send us questions, post on our Facebook page, and we want to help you with your business, help you thrive, and have a really good 2017. So I'll talk to you later. Thanks for being here.